Hello, second graders, and welcome back to Social Studies with Mrs. Miller. Today, in Lesson 9, we'll be talking about how communities have leaders. We'll talk about who the leaders of our country are, the leaders of our state, the leaders of our township, and the leaders of our school and school district. But you know who else can be a leader? You can be a leader. That's right. When you grow up, you could grow up to be a leader. How many future leaders do we have here? Raise your hand if you feel like you could grow up to become a leader. I bet so many of you would make great leaders. But you know something? You don't even have to wait until you grow up. You can be a leader right now. So I have a book for us to read. And it's called I Am a Leader. And it talks about all the different ways that you can be a leader. As we're reading this book, give a thumbs up if while we're reading we come across something that you feel that you already do. Or it could even be something that you feel that you can do. Okay, so we're going to read this book, I Am a Leader by David Parker, illustrated by Sylvia Walker. I am a leader. Did you ever say hello to someone new before they said hello to you? Thumbs up if you did that. If you did, you were acting like a leader. Did you ever do your homework again because you knew you could do it better? Anyone do that? Did you ever keep reading a book just because you like to read? Did you ever imagine a place where everyone was friendly and treated each other nicely? Did you ever say, today is going to be the best day ever, and make your friends feel that way too? If you did that, you were showing leadership skills. Let's see what else. Did you ever help someone and not expect that they would help you in return? Did you ever find something and return it to its owner? Did you ever see children who had no place to live and wonder why? Did you ever pick a piece of paper off the ground even though you did not throw it there? Did you ever hold the door for someone behind you? Did you ever play a game and say to the other team, nice going, when you lost? That shows good sportsmanship, right? And good leaders show good sportsmanship. Did you ever let someone go first? You are well on your way to becoming a leader. Name 3 things you do that make you a leader. So I bet that you probably put your thumb up for a lot of the things that we talked about in this book, probably even more than 3. Can you think right now of 3 things that you have done or that you do regularly even that make you a leader? I want you to say them across your fingers. Ready, set, share. All right, time's up. Did you come up with 3 things? If you did, pat yourself on the back for already being a leader. Now let's talk about some other leaders other than you. Can you name the country where we live? First, let's do that. Where do we live? What's the name of our country? Call it out in 3, 2, 1. Did you say the United States of America? If you did, you are right. The country where we live is the United States of America. Now, who are the leaders of the United States of America? Well, in our country, we have a president and a vice president. President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence are elected leaders of our country. But did you know that right now we are holding a presidential election? Joe Biden is running for president and Kamala Harris is running for vice president. So in November, we will find out whether or not President Trump and Vice President Pence will continue to be our leaders, or if we will have new leaders of our country, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. What's very important is that your parents and all of the other adults in our country get out to vote to decide who our leaders will be. Now, can you name the state where we live? Call it out in 3, 2, 1. Let's see how we did with this one. Did you say New York State? If you did, you're correct. We live in New York State. This is what our whole state looks like. And we live way down here on Long Island. Long Island looks like a fish, doesn't it? But New York State is really, really large. Do you see how big it is? So where we live on Long Island is just a small piece of New York State. Our state capital is located in Albany. Our state government is located in Albany too. These are our elected state leaders. You have probably seen Governor Andrew Cuomo on TV a lot over the past several months. And then we also have Thomas DiNapoli serving as our comptroller and Letitia James serving as our attorney general. In Elwood School District, we all live in the Huntington Township, and it has its own local government. Here, if you look at this map, this is where Huntington Township is. You can see that there are all different townships all around, and this is where our township is. And this is what Huntington Town Hall looks like. You've probably driven past it if you've ever gone into Huntington Village. We have many local leaders that were elected or voted into their position. Are some of our local elected leaders for the Huntington Township. Now, do you know the name of our school district? If you know it, call it out in 3, 2, 1. That's right. Our school district is the Elwood School District. These are our school leaders. Mrs. Milan is our principal, and she is the leader of our school. You all know her. Dr. Bossert is our superintendent. He is the leader of our whole entire school district, and you probably all know him too. Well, I have some exciting news to share. We are going to interview, drum roll, give me a drum roll. Mrs. Milan and Dr. Bossert. Isn't that so exciting? We'll get to ask them all sorts of different interview questions. Anything that you want to know about how they lead our school and our school district, the rules that they put in place for our school district, and how they get everyone to follow the rules. We can ask them things like how they became the leaders of our school. Anything that you're wondering about them, we could ask them. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a list of interview questions for Mrs. Milan, and then we'll come up with a list of interview questions for Dr. Bossert. I'll share with you some interview questions that I came up with. I thought maybe we could ask, how did you become principal? I'm curious about that. What do you like about being principal? What rules do you think are most important to follow? Now, can you come up with more questions? Think of more questions for Mrs. Milan. I'm going to give you 15 seconds. Ready, set. I want you to share them across your fingers. As many questions as you could think of that you would like to ask Mrs. Milan. Okay, ready, set, go. Time's up, everyone. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. All right, nice job coming up with some interview questions for Mrs. Milan. Now it's time to come up with some interview questions for Dr. Bossert. Let me share a few that I came up with. I thought we could ask him, what made you decide to become a superintendent? I mean, after all, it's a very big job and a very big responsibility. So I'd like to know what made him decide to become a superintendent. Oh, I'd like to know, what is the hardest part of your job? I think that would be a good question to ask. And what do you like about being superintendent? Now, can you come up with some more questions? Again, put up one finger for each question that you come up with. Let's see how many we can come up with for Dr. Bossert. Ready, set, go. All right, great job, everyone. Now, it's time for our activity sheet. If you're home, you'll find this in your Google Classroom. If you're at school, your teacher will give it to you. Let's read the directions. Well, first, the heading says Second Grade Social Studies, Unit 1, Lesson 9, Interview Questions for Our School Leaders. Now, the directions say write one interview question that you would like to ask Dr. Bossert and one interview question that you would like to ask Mrs. Milan. So here it says interview question for Dr. Bossert. So think of the questions that you came up with on your own to ask Dr. Bossert and choose one to write in these lines. Then do the same thing for Mrs. Milan. Think of one question that you would like to ask Mrs. Milan and write it here on these lines. Your teacher will collect it, and we will select some questions that we can ask Dr. Bossert and Mrs. Milan, and then they will answer those questions for us. I am so excited to see your questions, and I am so excited to hear their answers. I want you to pause the video here, and then when you're finished, I want you to come back to this video because we have one more thing. Okay, so after we're all done, you can come back and you're going to press that blue button up in the top right-hand corner to watch this video. What is a leader? I think you'll enjoy it. This is a video of children of all different ages explaining what they think a leader is. And I think you'll really, really find it informative, but also entertaining. Okay, everyone, go enjoy working on writing those interview questions. Don't forget, pause the video here, and then when you're finished, you can come back and press that blue button in the right-hand corner. Welcome back, everyone. You can now press that blue button if you finish filling out your activity sheet. I hope you enjoy this little video, and I will see you next time for social studies. Have a great day, everyone.